Welcome to another manga spotlight. This is Hazure skill. It is a slice of life with isekai elements to it. Now this isn't an isekai. It doesn't have a main character that was transported from another world or anything like that. When I say isekai elements, I just mean stuff like the fantasy setting, which again isn't necessarily just isekai, but most isekai kind of have this fantasy setting. But stuff like adventurers, being in a guild, having ranks, like a ranking system, stuff like that is usually associated with isekai stories, and a lot of that is in here. But again, this is an isekai. The main character isn't transported from another world or anything like that. I will get into the main character and all that stuff in a moment. I will say this is based off of the light novel of the same name. The author is Kenoji, and the artist is Araki Fu. I probably completely butchered that, but Japanese is not my main language. It's not even a language I know, so pronunciations are probably going to be really terrible. But our main character is Roland, and I am very thankful that he has a Western sounding name. Every time when I think of Roland, I know most people probably think the gunslinger from Dark Towers. I actually think of the song Roland the Thompson Gunner by Warren Zevon. That song is so awesome. It's like one of my favorite songs. Anyways, we have Roland, and he is what makes this series awesome. Like, I freaking love him. His character is great. So Roland is an assassin. Not only is he an assassin, but from what I've seen so far of all the chapters that have been released, he's like the world's greatest assassin ever. He is like beyond S rank. So we start off where we have Roland with the heroes party, and they're camping out, and they're about to go into the Demon King's castle and kill the Demon King once and for all. But while everybody's asleep, Roland sneaks out and decides to take on the Demon King on his own. And here's the Demon King. For anyone who's watching this on YouTube, you can't actually see her, but she is the one on the image that you're seeing. She's the one with the red hair that's hugging Roland. So that's the Demon King. Anyone watching this on Bitchute, you guys are actually going to be able to see the interiors and the panels. And I do this, I say this in every video, but just in case this is your first time watching this, I do this for copyright reasons. You would think I would be able to show the actual interiors, and I probably can, but I'm being more safe than sorry, because I've received copyright strikes before for showing like a few pages from a manga series. So I just don't want to take that risk anymore. So Bitchute is completely okay with showing like a lot of stuff. So I have all my interiors and stuff like that you guys can see on Bitchute. On YouTube, you're just going to see this one image. But I will try to describe everything as I'm discussing this series. But we have the Demon King, and we have a fight between the two. And Roland just completely one-shots her. She's making this grand speech. She's throwing out her biggest abilities that she can at him. And Roland basically just sneaks up, stabs her in the forehead with a knife. Down she goes, and he goes back to the hero's kingdom, where he meets the king, and the king kind of asks, like, thank you for saving our kingdom, thanks for stopping the Demon King, what is it that you want? And Roland just says, I just want to live an ordinary life. Like, I don't want riches, I don't want women, I don't want power, I just want to live a normal life. And the king's like, all right, go ahead, go live your life. So we see this cat that hangs out with Roland, and it turns out that the cat is actually the Demon King. The Demon King can actually turn into her human form, and then she kind of has like a demonic form, and then she has her cat form. And yeah, basically it's revealed that Roland did not kill the Demon King. He basically just kind of overpowered her and pretty much said, okay, like, I can kill you if I wanted to. But it turns out, I guess the Demon King just doesn't want to be the Demon King anymore. She just also wants to kind of live her own life. I think it's not really talked about too much. It's just basically he shows up, he beats her, and then she decides to hang out with him. And she kind of keeps her status as this Demon King under wraps in a secret. So only Roland is the only one in the whole world who knows that the Demon King is not only still alive, but also this woman who basically acts as his wife and also as his cat. Yeah. So when Roland is out, like at work, or he has people over or whatever, she'll basically go into her cat form, except for some people. Like if it's at his house, she stays in her human form, and she kind of acts like his wife, and he kind of treats her like she's his wife. In the very beginning of Roland living his ordinary life, he basically spends it all doing nothing but eating, sleeping, and having sex with the Demon King. And eventually, after doing this for a long time, like literally they go days and days of just eating, sleeping, and having sex, the Demon King finally says, this is definitely not normal. Like, obviously there's more to life than just eating, sleeping, and having sex. And Roland's like, really? Okay. So like, what would be like a normal thing to do? So he was basically staying at this inn where he was doing nothing but having sex with the Demon King. And as he's leaving, he bumps into the innkeeper. And the innkeeper's kind of like, at first she's there because she's like, can you like keep the noise down? Like, whatever you're doing, like we hear a bunch of moaning and groaning, and it's always from your room, and it's bothering everybody. And she's kind of asked like, Mr. Like, what do you do? And Roland just point blank responds with, eat, sleep, and have sex. And he's like, did I say something wrong? When he noticed like her kind of like freaked out, embarrassed expression. And that's one of the greatest things about Roland, is that he is very just point blank and blunt and almost naive in a way. Like when it comes to being an assassin, he is great. He's amazing. He knows how to fight. He knows like everything about being a warrior, being an assassin. But when it comes to like ordinary lives, like just regular conversations, he has no idea. And the reason why is because he grew up being trained to be an assassin. He had very little social life. So his social interactions are just kind of like, I mean, like here, like, like, what do you do? Like, like, what do you do with your life? And he's like, eat, sleep, and have sex. And he says that like not in a joking manner, but just like, I mean, that's what I did. You ask what I do, that's what I do. It reminds me very much of Kimoni Jihan, the main character from that. He also reminds me a little bit of Saitama from One Punch Man. Not only just the whole OP abilities, but just how like One Punch Man doesn't like let anything get to him, and he's just kind of very blunt. Roland is a lot like that. Anyways, she's like, no. I mean, like, what's your job? What's your profession? And then his immediate thought is like, I see. So a normal man must have a job, huh? And Roland is like obsessed with trying to become normal. So he goes to the guild, and he decides that he wants a job. And he's not going to get a job as an adventurer because he's done with that. He wants a job working at the guild and basically being the person who stands behind the counter and hands out requests and takes in, like, once a quest is done, he, hands out the rewards. He looks at any collectibles, stuff like that. And we have like another ability of him. We have another scene of him showing off his abilities. He has to do an interview. So he's doing an interview with the guild headmaster. Her name is Iris. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, she's the one with purple hair that you see on the left. So anyways, she kind of just asked him like, do you have any experience as a hunter, as an adventurer? And even though he does, because he was an adventurer. I want to say he was technically an adventurer because he never like really officially joined with the ranking, like with the guild, and has like a rank or anything like that, as far as I remember. But he did join the heroes group, and obviously they went on adventures, and he killed the Demon King. So obviously he does, but for this he says no, because he's trying to lie because he wants to live his ordinary life. So like, do you have any experience as an adventurer? No. What about a guild? Nothing much. Any related task or experience as an adventurer guild staff? No. And she's basically like, well, this guy has like no abilities. Why would I want to hire him? During which he shows off his ability. And he decides to show it off by, he flicks like a tiny pebble at a nearby window, causing a sound. And when she turns to look at the noise, he uses his assassin's ability to sneak up on her, pull down her panties, take them off, and then sit back at his seat before she even notices. And he kind of shows off the panties. He's like, here's like my abilities. Like, I was able to take off your panties without you even noticing. And for some reason, she's like, all right, you're hired. That would be a really interesting job interview. So like, why should we hire you? Well, I just took off your panties without you noticing. All right, you're hired. You got the job. But anyways, we have him, and He's hired, so he's kind of introduced to some of his coworkers. There's Milia Chan. She plays a huge role in this. She's basically I don't know if I would say the secondary protagonist. Roland is number one, and it's kind of a tie between the Demon King and Milia. So, because Milia takes up a lot of airtime. For anyone watching this on YouTube, Milia is the one with brown hair that you see to the right of the guild leader. So Milia is like, the nice kind of character who's like willing to help out Roland with any questions and stuff he has. And then we have this other character over here. His name is Morley. And Morley is kind of the jackass coworker. You know that coworker that everyone hates? I'm sure you guys have one at your jobs. That's him. And if anyone watching this on YouTube, he's the dude with the blonde hair to the right, Amelia, that you see walking through the door. Anyways, he doesn't like Roland. He doesn't like the fact that Amelia seems to have a fascination with Roland, and the fact that Amelia actually seems to be crushing on Roland. So he does everything in his power to basically try to bully our hero. So yeah, Morley basically spends most of this series trying to one-up Roland, trying to get Roland in like a gotcha moment, trying to put Roland in a position to fail in front of everybody's eyes so that he can kind of like point at him and laugh. Like we have like from the very beginning, like the initiation kind of is they just had a quest received where the adventurers had to go out and collect a bunch of herbs, and they have to make sure that they have the right amount of a specific herb in this bundle. And so Morley like says, there's 30 herbs, and Roland uses his assassination abilities, and he's able to detect like the tiniest flaws and things like that. And he realizes, no, a lot of those herbs are actually the wrong kind. Like there's the right kind mixed in, but your number is way off. It's not 30. Yeah, the dynamic between the two is basically Morley constantly trying to one up Roland, trying to just mess him up in some way, and Roland, not even realizing this, is always able to get one step ahead of Morley and and fight off his attempts to embarrass him in front of everybody. Morley later on tries to hire some thugs to beat up Roland, but Roland basically beats the crap out of them and then has sex with one of the members who's a female. And of course, Morley gets even more pissed off because now it's like, not only did this guy like show me up in front of the coworker that I'm crushing on, but he also just beat up a bunch of adventurers that I hired to beat him up. And he had sex with one of them who I was also crushing on. But then we just kind of have like slice of life moments. So we have stuff like where adventurers, like one of them is trying to get a job, and it turns out that his identification is fake. So Roland, obviously, like with his assassin skills, he's able to spot off like he's able to spot any inaccuracy, so he points that out. We have missions, for example, where a adventure might be like a quest might be a little too high rank level, so Roland will actually go out with adventurers to kind of support them on these quests. So it's not just slice of life stuff with him working at the guild, but also there's like adventure and action aspects where he'll go out on quests and stuff with some of these members and like fight creatures. He also kind of like helps some of these adventurers with their skills. Like there's one where he kind of helps an adventurer who's a ranger class kind of use a bow and arrow. There's another one where he helps a warrior, like here's how you hold a spear and how you use it, that kind of stuff. Of course, like we have stuff where like a lot of people kind of see him, especially like Roland, when he works at his job, he wears fake glasses and stuff like that, and he's just like someone who works behind the counter. So everyone kind of sees him as like, this guy's got to be weak, right? Like if he was strong, he would be an adventurer. He wouldn't be working behind the desk. So a lot of people don't take him seriously, but then he obviously shows off his skills and abilities and accomplishes quests and stuff. And there's like one where he goes out and he saves a town that was being like ravaged by this giant salamander that's like a really tough monster. And when he comes back, Milia's like, the quest is completed. Good work, everyone. Oh, she's like, Mr. Roland will, receive extra payment and special bonus because of the work he did. And Roland's like, I can get this much just for completing a simple errand. And everyone was like, how the hell is this simple? Like, because Roland is so OP that the littlest things, like fighting a giant salamander, might be like a B or an A rank to a lot of people, but to him, it might as well be E rank because he's just so overpowered. And for anyone watching this on Bitchute, this pretty much encompasses the theme of the story. For anyone who's watching this on YouTube, I'll explain it. So basically, Amelia is talking like to Roland. She's like, Mr. Roland is amazing, being able to detect the bad guys and then subdue him like it was nothing. It does say Lauren, but I believe it's Roland. That's what it says on the summary. That's what it says in a few other pages, and I think that's what it says in the light novel. So I don't know why it says Lauren here. Maybe it's a translation thing, but I'm just gonna keep calling him Roland. But anyways, being able to take the bad guy and then subdue him like it was nothing. Plus, you saved me from a lot of trouble there. Thank you so much. And Roland's like, no need. As long as you don't get hurt, everything's fine to me. And then, of course, Amelia starts crushing on him. She's like, it's his first date, but that composure and reliable vibe. Such a strange man. And then Roland, this is basically, he's just like, now then, until my work is done, I need to try harder in order to become normal. So basically, this is where one of the adventurers tries to pass off a phony ID to get a quest, and it turns out that he's actually like a bandit, and he tries to attack Roland, and Roland quickly like subdues him like it was nothing, and the knights come and arrest the bandits, and basically this is like a huge thing, right? But to Roland, it was just a normal, ordinary thing, and now he's like, now I gotta try harder to be normal, because even the littlest things he does that he assumes is normal are like they're so OP that they're like extravagant to everyone else. So now he has to try even harder to try to come across as normal. And that's basically the series in a nutshell. Is Roland, who's just an OP assassin, who's just doing like everything. He's like one-shotting everybody. He's able to detect things. He is basically like a god among these people, and he's trying his best to come across as normal. But even like when he's doing things at like 1% of his power, it's still like so abnormal compared to everybody else. And that's where a lot of the humor comes in. So yeah, that's the Hazure skill. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell for notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't like the video, thank you for watching this far. If you guys have any recommendations for mangas, for comics, for anything like that, let me know. It can be in any kind of genre. I don't really care. I pretty much read anything. So yeah, just let me know like if there's any good series out there that you guys think I should check out. But anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.